Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Compass of Curiosities. Um, Gonna give a few minutes here to let a few people join. We got a couple in here already. So, as you saw, the intro video is different than the one I normally have for Compass. I am working right now on getting that rectified and getting a new video made and whatnot. So, you can look out for that for the next couple weeks. But I want to jump right into it real quick. My sponsors, Warner Paranormal Preservation Society. I am a member of it, and it is an absolutely amazing organization. We run 4 locations up here, I want to say, cemetery and 2 other places. Um, hey, Damien. Hey, Icy. Um, so, I want to thank them for sponsoring the show. Also, we got Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography, excuse me. Close personal friend of mine. Great photography. Amazing for women out there. So definitely go check that out. Please, 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 please do. Excuse me. Get Moderated Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. on the Get Haunted Network. Hosted by Ian Murphy and Julie Rose. Definitely a great show to check out. They really tap into some things we don't think about. So definitely check that one out. Jeff's Traveling Boards of Wonders, very good friend of mine, Jeff Whittam, up in Maine. He has accumulated a very, very vast collection of Ouija boards from all over the country, all over the world. So definitely, if he's ever at an event that you're at, definitely go check him out. Also, we have the Maine Paranormal and Horror Con. The website's coming up here very soon. And it is September 6th and 7th at 2025 in the Augusta Civic Center. Also being put on by Jeff of the Boards of Wonders. So definitely check that out. It's going to be great. I'll be there speaking on a paranormal panel with a couple other people. Not going to announce that yet, but we'll definitely get into that soon. So without further ado, a very, very great gentleman that I formally got to meet in Gettysburg this past year. He's doing some big things. He is going really, really quick. But this is definitely somebody to actually look out for in the future because they are doing big things. So everybody put your hands together. I can't hear you clapping, but I'm picturing the whole thing in the background. But Josh Purvis is joining me tonight.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, Josh? How we doing, bud?
Oh, trying to stay afloat, but I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
Hey, as long as the neck's above water, you're good to go, right?
That's right, man. That's right.
That's all you can do. All right, so everybody
That's
out there
right,
that doesn't
man.
know who Josh Purvis is, I mean, you should know him. If you don't, I'm disappointed. But go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about what you do and who you are, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so my name's Josh Purvis. I'm a filmmaker by trade, and I am part of a group known as The Searchers alongside Shane Pittman, and now part owner of a streaming platform, a video streaming platform known as Beacon TV.
Very, very good. So you've been an investigator for how long?
I've been an investigator now, I think 12 years or so.
Okay.
Kind of lose count after a little while, but I've investigated easily over 100 locations at this point, and pretty much when I got started, I didn't stop. I've been fortunate enough now to be all over the country, and then next year with the Mysterious Adventures Tours, I'll be over in Romania as well. So I'm excited about that.
Going to Drax Castle, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't wait. We'll be doing that.
When you say Romania, there's only really one place.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. We'll be doing that. We'll be checking out a haunted forest that's there as well. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
That's awesome.
We'll be very likely filming a project for Beacon TV over in the UK next year as well. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
That is
Thanks for
absolutely
that, Kelly. I'm reading some of these comments. What's up,
yeah. I know.
everybody in
I'm
the
I'm
chat?
catching up with the comments now. Yeah, Kelly had a really great one, like philosophy, psychology, and the brain and the universe. Like,
Oh
give
yeah,
us a little bit more into that, like because I know a lot of investigators out there delve into different objects and
yeah,
subjects of the paranormal. And the brain and philosophy and psychology all really do take a toll and an
yeah.
effect on
Absolutely,
the paranormal field.
absolutely. So for us, and for searchers, our meat and potatoes when it comes to investigations is sensory deprivation or sensory manipulation, if you will, and it's because we believe in we have a strong belief that there is a very big connection between the human mind and paranormal activity. And by manipulating our senses, you know, the Estes method, a lot of people know us from doing the Estes method because we've been for whatever reason, when Shane and I do it, it works really well for us. It's one of our tried and true uh, experiments and ways of communicating at this point. But the more we do it, and the different things that come out on the other side of that, just leads us more and more down the path that we can no longer just put the term ghost on something as in pass someone that has passed away and has not left the earth. I think that there is way bigger forces at play with this stuff that I don't think we could possibly even understand the full potential of it. We've had experiences with filming this new series, Searchers Afterlife. There's a couple of places we went to there, and there's been a couple of situations where we've investigated, and just the communication that happened, the synchronicities of how it happened, and the boldness of which the communication was for coming from whatever we were talking to, right? uh where they speak to us in like a matter of fact instead of a help me. It's more of a, hey,
Yeah.
look what I can do. You think that you understand this, but you don't. Kind of
Now that
mentality. And
that actually
go
brings
ahead.
up a really good question because I've done this before on previous investigations. I've been an investigator for 27 years now, and I started back when we had tape recorders and
Right. Dude,
twine and
still
baby
really good
powder.
reasoning to have those. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but um, yes, Jeff, it would be cool to get Josh and Shane and them up to the Paranormal HorrorCon up in Maine next year.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
great.
I will pass you off the information, Jeff, and you can work out details with them.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
but what I was thinking is like I've done audio sessions, I've done EVP recordings at certain locations. And as you said, you get your help me's, your,
Yeah.
whatever. Now, have you ever gone to a location and gotten an EVP where you dug more into it, where you've gone back the
Oh
second
yeah.
time and have been like, "Hey, you said this before. What do you mean?"
Yes.
Like, and
Yeah,
it's telling its story.
so sometimes those communications, especially if you frequent somewhere often with an investigation, they remember you. Um, then sometimes it's even a step further where I don't even believe that they're necessarily even located to that location. For instance, I don't. Sometimes I wonder like what or who we're even communicating with, because for it to know some of the things and to line up the revelations on our end for us, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. It
Sure.
leads me to believe that it's far more intelligent than we're giving it credit for. I'm going to
Now,
use
side note with that, with the EVP, do you think they know they've passed on, or do they think they're still living everyday
so I
life?
think it's a mixed bag, right? So I do think that there are scenarios where if death was instantaneous, accidental, or something of that nature, because time exists over on our plane. When you die, time no longer exists, right? It's a human man-made construct. Um, once you die, if you don't realize that you died, I could visualize a world where it gets easy to get trapped in where you're at, right?
Sure.
Um, and then you have the spirits that have lasting emotion here on our side. So maybe somebody wanted to be cremated, but instead you buried them. I do think that because we as humans support this idea of peaceful burial and making sure that we do a peaceful transition over to the other side, what have you. If we are to basically do something that would upset that transition, then there could be a reason for them to want to be here still. Maybe they're upset. Maybe they cared so much about a location, and then it was all consuming of their life, right? And when they died, seeing the way that location maybe has deteriorated or something could upset them. There's so yeah, I do think that there's a mixed bag to that, but I also think there are some that choose to be here because they just want to be here.
Yeah.
And they don't want to communicate with us sometimes and could just, you know, exist within that location, but also just not be interested in anything that we're doing, right? It's a waste of time to them.
Of course.
Um, and then I think that there are things that we communicate with that have nothing to do with the location, nothing to do with a death or anything, something that has transcended all of those things to the point where they really wrap their mind around it and said, "Oh, I know where I'm at. I know what I am, and I can manipulate this in a way that they don't understand."
Well, see, that's one of the big theories too that I learned way back in the starting of it. Was like one of the theories was that a spirit will haunt a location or be active in a location that they are fondly remembered of.
Oh yeah,
That where they
yeah,
spent a lot of time at. That was one of their
and that
favorite
makes sense,
places,
right?
things like that.
Yeah,
So, I
yeah,
mean, it would make sense that these spirits that are, as you said, seeing the way that the places are deteriorating and the way
yeah,
the upkeep is kept and things like that. I could see it being an
right.
issue for these people that don't know they've passed on, and they're just standing
Right.
around looking like Miss Doubtfire, going, "What the hell's going on here?" Like,
Yeah, I mean, it could be a complete and total nightmare to them. I mean, it really
oh
could,
yeah,
Um, but then, I want to go and talk about an experience I had here at a friend of mine, Michael Angus's. He runs a haunted jail. It's called the Old Blakely County Jail here in Georgia.
okay.
And
Go
when
ahead and tell that story real quick. I'm gonna jump off camera real fast.
yeah, you're good. So while I
Go
was
for it.
there, I took I fortunate enough to be in town first off, but I went and hung out with him, and he had a few people come out to do an investigation for Halloween. And while we were there, we did have a lot of really interesting activity. I did the Estes method while we were there, and I got myself some communication. So I went down into like their little lobby living room area down at the bottom of the jail, and I was just sitting there hanging out because some friends had come into town too, and they were asking me questions about the area. And what's up, Vince? Um, and one of them asked me, of course, like, what kind of locations here are there to investigate? Have I investigated anywhere else? And I was telling them, and a lot of people don't know this. Early on in Searchers, we were fortunate enough to go investigate this place called Capricorn Records here in town. And Capricorn Records has a really big footprint in the history of Southern rock and roll. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Anyway, we were just talking off the cuff with that, and in that moment, another person that was down there with us decides that she was going to get up. It was Katie McVeigh. She decides she's going to get up and go upstairs while one of the people that had bought a ticket to come investigate was up there doing the Estes method. And so she happens to just get up and, for no reason really, she gets up, walks upstairs, and this person's already actively been doing this Estes method. And she goes upstairs, and the first word that comes out this girl's mouth was Capricorn. And so I want to take a pause on that for a second.
Oh, it looks like Katie McVeigh is in the chat right now.
Hey, Katie. Yeah. So let's talk about the synchronicities of that. Like, Katie didn't have to go up there, right? Katie didn't have to do anything. She could have stayed down there where I was. And we were just having shooting the shit, if you will, conversation. Yeah. And it could have never been a thing, but she didn't. She went upstairs just because we got literally just hanging out. So she just went upstairs to see what was going on. And the first word to come out of this girl that doesn't know any of us, by the way, doesn't know any of us, doesn't, has been in the Estes method. There is no way she would have ever even heard me. And, Capricorn is not like a word anybody is just going to dream up. But she does say it, and Katie hears her and, does like a complete 180 and is like, what the hell did she just say? And Mike Angus is there, and he said, yeah, she said Capricorn. And so she tells Michael Angus what our conversation was. And so they come back down, and I was like, what in the world, man? Like, how does that even happen? And I was like, I guarantee you this girl doesn't know what Capricorn Records is, right? I guarantee you she has no idea what this place is. And so she's still up there doing the Estes method and everything. She comes down finally. And I just, off the cuff, I was like, hey, just out of curiosity, what does Capricorn mean to you? And she was like, well, astrology, like anybody else. Yep. Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, you have no idea of, so then I start picking that apart, right? That whole experience. And it's kind of like,
as you normally do, you kind of just, you dive deeper into it to make sure that like, okay, it's something.
Right. Well, I don't know how it can't be something, but it's something in a way that is not even really trying to answer a question for me. Right. It's not trying to do any, I didn't ask it anything. I wasn't trying to communicate with anyone, anything, anywhere. Right. But they heard me and they said, oh, I'm going to give this girl a word, and it's going to profoundly affect everybody else in the building because of the word. And, again, Katie could have not gone upstairs. Katie could have stayed where she was with us, and she could have gone up 2 seconds later and missed it. She could have gone there's a million different ways that could have turned out to be nothing, but it didn't, right? It did turn out to be something in a very specific way. And so then you're left with like, well, I mean, the only real answer is that they wanted us to know that they can do and see and be in multiple places at one time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we think. I'm about to really
rules are completely out the book.
Head. Yeah. Yes. Right. And so
what you thought is nothing.
Right. And this past year, I've had a few occurrences that are like that. How something like so simple and so trivial has such a
turn
profound
into something
impact
that means
because of the details of it and the specifics of it, right? And it could mean nothing for anybody else, but because of the time and place and the people,
it looks like everything. I don't mean to cut you off, but here from the chat here, it looks like you have everybody that was there filming with you. You got John Angus in there. You got Katie McVeigh in there.
And again, hey, we weren't even filming. It was basically they were doing like a Halloween, hey, come investigate, you can buy a ticket. And so I was like, John, Mike, I'll come out there and hang out if you're good with it. I'll come out here and hang out with you guys and we'll just investigate. Some of the people from War Party Paranormal came up. And so
Oh,
I was
I
talking to
love War
Eric from
Party.
War Party at the time, actually, and we were just having conversation. It wasn't about anything. He was just asking because he hasn't been to Macon, like, where have you investigated else here? And I told him Capricorn Records. And then, Katie goes upstairs and the word that comes out of the girl's mouth is Capricorn. And and then I don't know how to explain that, Russ. I don't know how to explain that.
I just gotta say, I love War Party Paranormal. R.I.P. Scotty.
Right.
Loved her to
Yeah.
death. And I know we kind of shared a moment this past year at Gettysburg about Scotty
Yeah.
and everything like that. But gone but not forgotten. She still lives in our lives every day.
Absolutely.
But there are so many things that actually are signs that we don't realize actually in normal everyday life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Like,
think it probably happens more than we realize. I think we've become so ingrained in our day-to-day lives, which we have to be, right? I mean, it's really
yeah,
hard to not be. Survival is priority. But I do think that this kind of stuff probably happens a lot more frequently than we realize. And in this past year, during paranormal investigating, specifically for me, there's been multiple occurrences. And Michael Angus, he is a camera operator for us for Searchers Afterlife, so he can attest to that as well. He's seen these subtle, I guess, experiences that have such profound impacts to us because they could mean nothing to anybody else, but it means
yep,
something to us when it's said, right?
yeah, for sure.
Um, so, and I wonder if why this past year it's been happening more frequently. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's, I don't want to sound like,
I think your guides are telling you you're on
well,
the right path.
right. Yeah. I don't want to, take credit for something that I didn't really do. It's just an experience. But at the same time, I'm like, are they trying to show me something more about what's truly happening over there? I'm not sure. Oh
All
yeah,
right, so
Damien, that's a good question. To be
yeah,
honest, Damien, we become very because I do quite a bit of filming too while we're out. We become very I guess just hyper focused of unless we're doing the investigation portion, we're very hyper focused about getting certain shots and stuff like that. So we've become very, very immune to the idea of like being in these like often decrepit, uh, substantially haunted locations, right? But we never have enough time, so we're we're like literally we'll drive 14 hours sometimes. We'll get out the RV, we're unpacking all the gear and we're filming. We don't stop. Like we're filming and we're investigating. We'll film it. We'll sleep that night and then or morning
day.
and yeah, whatever. So we'll sleep and then get up and finish filming and go back home. And, it's we just filmed this project with Brian and Rochelle. Drove 12 hours up to Pennsylvania. Started filming that. This one we actually got there the night before, which was nice. But after that, and once we got on the road, Katie and Mike were along for that ride as well. Once we got on the road, every single day was a new location, right? Because it's a road trip.
Yep,
So, um, and so there's a lot of moving pieces to that where we're having to drop footage from the day before, and that takes multiple hours. But then we have to make sure we have enough batteries to last the day that we're in. Are we charging the batteries as
yep,
needed? Are we doing like all these like insane things? Because if one of those things doesn't happen, it could delay us hours. And so between me and Mike, we're constantly like juggling that ball in our heads of, all right, we need to do this. But yeah, I mean, we do all of that stuff, and then we're on the road back home. And it the amount of turn and burn we do is
I've done my
insane,
fair
man.
share of it in the day, and I do not miss
Yeah.
it
Well,
anymore. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
I'm 40 years old, and I drive 8.5 hours to Gettysburg every year, and I get out of the car every time going, I can't do this anymore.
Dude,
You know?
I used to think that, I a lot of people may not know this about me. I was in a band before I got into like paranormal investigating. Before I was married, I was in a touring band, and you know, all these long drives and stuff when you're on tour is not that big of a deal because you're just driving, playing, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But and then, I got done doing that and I thought to myself, yeah, I'll never do these like 9 and 10 hour drives again. And like now here we are doing these like
You're
the
doing
last
12,
drive,
14, 16-hour
dude,
drives.
16 hours, bro. We Shane and I had to do a 16-hour drive back from Massachusetts. Yeah.
Oh,
And so it's just like,
oh.
and then, Michael Angus, he's a trooper. He does a hefty amount of driving when he's on the road with us. But yeah, man, over the year, this past year, especially because we've been out filming Searchers Afterlife, been out filming Adventures with Rochelle, filming Pair with a Normal. We've had Vince with us, we've had Kelly with us, Katie, Mike and Marilyn. Yeah, you just come to treat each other like family, and we're all tired, but we're all there to get something done. So
All right. So this leads me into my next question. Kelly
yeah,
actually asked,
I saw that.
you have so many shows on Beacon TV now. Can you explain the different shows and the bonuses on their platform? And I know I had messaged you earlier asking about the tiers and
Yeah,
everything that you have for it. So go ahead and tell everybody that's listening right now. I mean, even though they may not be listening now, but they could be tomorrow, Tuesday,
right. No,
Wednesday, whatever.
absolutely, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, so
what tiered levels you offer and everything like that.
So Stream Beacon TV as a platform is geared to the genres of paranormal reality, true crime, and horror content, right? I would say obviously Shane and I's suits are, it's paranormal reality. We are fortunate to know a lot of people in the paranormal field, and we know that as viewers, we miss a lot of their TV shows out there. So we have been actively trying to build relationships and new projects. So, we have Brian and Rochelle on the platform. You'll have a new show with the cast of the Holzer Files on it coming out. We'll have, we're working with Sarah Lemos. We're working with Mary Lynn and Mike Galliano with Pair with a Normal. And then a couple that I don't want to say quite yet. We can talk about Kalani. Kalani Smith, we'll be working with him next year. But yeah, we have quite a few shows, right? And that's just our original content. And then what people don't see is in the background, we're working with like an acquisitions team. We've been working with them for 2 or 3 months now, and they're going out and finding content that they think will fit the bill for us too. And so then me and Shane will review said content and try to not own it, but instead license that content to air on our platform as well, which is a completely different ball game, really.
Of
So
course.
when doing all of that, we're talking to somebody really, really popular in the true crime space as well that we really hope we can bring on board, and he will be a yeah, he would
Tracy
be
just said in here, said she loves the true crimes one you guys are putting out.
awesome, Tracy. Yeah, so we got a lot more coming. Actually, I just uploaded a couple today that are going to be really good. And like, hey, listen, we're the ones uploading all the content, you know what I mean? So we get to take a look at the catalog that we have, and we say, okay, well, let's try and let's try and evenly kind of distribute this content between the three genres, right?
Of course.
And so and that's kind of how we take our approach with that kind of stuff. Um, and so yeah, we try to give a very good. We vet literally every piece of content that goes out onto the platform, every single piece.
You have to.
So
You have to these
yeah,
days.
yes. We have a rolling spreadsheet of all that stuff that when our acquisitions team finds some stuff, they'll put it on there. We'll take a look at it, and we'll decide which one of those titles we want to keep, and let's go out and get that stuff. Or, you know,
Yeah.
we could care less. This is not going to be a good fit for us. You know what I mean? And we just keep going, and it never stops. But
I
it's
gotta give a quick
because we want
shout
to make.
out. I gotta give
Yeah,
a
go
quick
for it.
shout out in the chat room right now. John Covey. I learned how to just say his name now. It's not Covey, it's
Hey,
Covey.
John. Yeah, I've met him.
Yeah, you gotta love John. So, and
What's
Michelle
up,
Taylor
man?
in here says be
What's up,
subscribing soon.
Michelle?
Can't wait to catch up.
Yeah, Michelle. Like this past month or so, maybe I'd say towards the tail end of October is when we finally like started pushing all this extra content. Yeah, it's like the amount of content's tripled to quadrupled. It's insane. But yeah, so we'll be doing that's never going to stop, and yeah, we'll be doing that for forever. We picked up a show called My Haunted Hotel, which has been really cool. It takes place over in the UK. I don't know, you guys probably know the project My Haunted Manor
Yes.
in the US. Yeah, so
Yes.
this is
Daryl Morrison and
kind
Trey
of
Badger. Yeah.
yep. So this is kind of a sister project, if you will, to that. It's called My Haunted Hotel, and
Okay.
it take place over in the UK. As Shane was over there doing an event in the UK last year at some point, and was able to meet those guys while he was out there. And after taking a look at their stuff, we brought them on board. Set them up with a show graphics package, and yeah, and I've enjoyed that show. I think it's a really cool concept. And if you guys don't know what it is, basically, they own a haunted hotel there, but they allow people come and stay, but they film it constantly. So you'll see different people investigating this hotel in every episode, right? And then
Yeah.
you have the owners and the kind of primary investigators there give a kind of background to that investigation, if you will. So yeah, it's really cool. They've had over 2,000 experiences in this one location. So it is one of the largest paranormal projects that I can think of. I mean, it's huge
Oh wow.
to compound that kind of data for that long.
Yeah.
Annie, thanks for hanging out with us for a little while, Annie.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Annie. Brooklyn in here says super excited for the adventures with Burchell.
Yeah, Brooklyn. So we
Which
went
I
out and
am
filmed
too,
that.
because I love those
Yes.
guys.
I'm sure you guys have seen the trailer by now. We dropped it last week sometime. Yeah, so we went out and filmed that at the beginning of November. I do want to leave a little bit of a spoiler for I'm not going to tell you everything about where all we went, but I can tell you that there are a couple of guest investigators that joined up, and you guys will recognize them. Rob, what's up, Rob?
Rob,
Listen,
I gotta
man,
say, I told
he already
Josh
told
what
me
you
he
had
said I
said.
look homeless. I can't disagree though.
There was the whole thing. So Rob is the co-owner of Get Haunted, and when I told him I was having Josh on as a guest, he's like, he made a whole big thing about it, and then he was like, "Yeah, tell him he looks homeless," and you could tell him I said that.
Yeah, of course, dude.
So, of course, me being the nice guy I am, before Josh jumped on live with me, we were backstage,
He's like, I'm
and I
gonna
said,
tell
"Hey,
you,
I just gotta say."
I like that, Rob.
Right,
John, are we doing more featured documentaries to film for the platform? Absolutely. So I'm trying to think. I don't know that of the projects that we are personally going to be filming right now, if any of them are going to be featured. Some of them are going to be more short series, or maybe I will say Nathan Withers, he is kind of the front man of the My Paranormal Experience series on there, and he's done a couple of documentaries. He does have a couple of more documentaries coming out for Beacon TV as well, so he's been great. Nice to meet you, Josh. That's awesome. So yeah, the short answer is yes, we'll be doing more documentaries to film for the platform. Absolutely.
So Damien actually asked a question further up in the chat
Yeah.
that I didn't get to. He actually asked, oh, Shane's in the room now.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Shane? Damien had asked, have you ever missed a location once you left it? And that's actually a good question.
Well, I say all of them except for asylums. I'm not a fan of asylums. Mainly because they're always
feel
like
a little too at home.
Yeah, right. And we have to lug like all the camera equipment around too, and
oh god,
it's just it could be cumbersome for sure.
Asylums, prisons, things like that. Once you're lugging all that equipment around, that just makes it.
You're like, man, I'm a little over it. Yeah,
I hate carrying around a backpack on an investigation that has my equipment in it, let alone thinking the cameras and the audio cords and everything else. Like
I mean, it is what it is. You just kind of gotta do it. Rob, Josh misses being by my side. I have not seen you in a good minute there, buddy.
Okay, now I gotta ask. Shane just said you tend to get lost in asylums, and I'm assuming there's a story behind this.
So yeah, if you haven't
watched
ask. The episode of Searchers After Life that's on there, it's called Harmonia, and it takes place at Eloise Asylum, right?
Okay,
and that's where we met up with Vince and we met up with Kelly there, and so we did a lot of, you know, it's a huge place first off, and so I think we had a total of 6 people in this building. So yeah, I mean, that's a whole another story for another time. But we didn't take a tour of it either because we don't have time.
you jump in.
We're jumping in and we're filming, right? And somebody kind of gave us the 10-cent word tour of, hey, you should go check out this place. It's on the 2nd story, blah, blah, blah. And
hey, this place is 9 doors down on the left to your right.
Yeah, you can't tell us that, man. Like, so we went looking for a place that was supposed to be the operating room, and
Kelly just said, "How could you not find the operating room?"
I don't know, Kelly. I mean, it was freezing. We walked, we did things, and just thought we were in the operating room
to keep yourself warm.
Yeah, but we ended up being in the cafeteria, I believe, at least.
Well, it's kind of far off from an operating room.
Yes, but listen, we had some experiences while we were there. So,
hey, you know what? And you got Michael Cook coming in here.
What's up, buddy? Yeah, Michael Cook, he's up in Alaska. He just attended a film festival last night where he could kind of take a look at some maybe some new and upcoming projects.
Oh, there you go.
The kitchen. When are we going to have time for our Patreon? And when are we going to have time for Arizona? Tracy, I think the Patreon will be coming.
Arizona. It is now going to be known as Arizona.
I'm hoping that we have time for our Patreon really soon because we're kind of starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. What's up, April?
Yeah, April.
So yeah, maybe Shane and I need to talk, and we'll set up a date to do a Patreon Zoom again. And we got a lot to catch up on, huh?
Now, if you're doing the Patreon, when are you guys going to jump into the field of the OnlyFans? I mean,
listen, I don't think we could take on any more than what we've currently got first.
The men of the searchers.
He's not only homeless, but illiterate too. Yeah, this is true. Yeah. Whatever.
It's always great to have those friends in your corner
I know,
where,
Tracy.
oh, Shane just said, who said we haven't started it yet?
Hey man, we can't release all the juicy details here.
That's Shane's side project.
Thank you, April. Who's your favorite person to investigate with? I think I would be doing
Himself.
me, and I would have to say Shane. I feel like that's like by default, I'm sure, because we've been in so many haunted locations together now. It's stupid.
I mean, is it by default because you don't want to get in trouble, or is it by default because that's how you feel?
I mean, I don't
Blink
know how
twice
it
if you're in
couldn't-
trouble.
I don't know how it couldn't be true, I suppose, right? It's like when you I don't know, when you investigate as much as we've been doing in the last couple of years at least, you better say me. And we've been, for good, bad, and ugly, we've been together for all of it. So absolutely him.
And I hate to sound cliche here, but you got to find that ride or die, that one that's right
Yeah,
there with
for
you
sure.
going. When you guys
And
are
hey,
in a
man,
location going, hey, I got an idea, and you go, hold my beer. Like, those are the people you need to find.
yeah. Damien's got a good question there. To come up with the logo, we did not do a lighthouse. We have never done a lighthouse investigation, actually. But we would love to do one. So maybe one day. That comment is burned into my screen now.
Better get a new screen then, Rob. Sorry. So
yeah. So yeah,
I gotta ask. So getting into the beacon, the stream beacon TV and everything. That like, now do you guys just call it beacon, or do you do stream beacon? Like, I know the web address and everything.
So
but
the actual company, the company name is Beacon TV, as in like one word.
Okay.
Stream Beacon TV is just the domain, the website name. So if you were looking for the app on, Apple App Store or Roku or Amazon, you search Beacon TV as one word, it'll come up.
Okay. Marilyn Bast in the chat room says they have access to a
Oh,
lighthouse.
snap.
Uh-oh.
Sounds like a season 2, Marilyn.
There you go. There you go. So I've asked you about what shows are going to be on there and everything. Now, what is the price points for what you guys have for the tiers you guys have going on?
Yeah, so right now we have 4 different prices, and that sounds like a lot, but bear with me. We have a $4.99 basic monthly, so less than a cup of coffee a month, and that gets you to like 90% of the content, right? Then we have a basic annual price, which is $49.99 a year. I'm sorry, $49.99 a year.
I was gonna say, I didn't know if you know what the word annual means.
Yeah. Yes. And so that ends up saving you like 2 months. You end up getting 2 months free out of that. And then we have the monthly Premium Plus plan, which is $6.99 a month. And so the Premium Plus plan has a lot of behind the scenes content, podcast content. We have a very specific podcast that is exclusive to that. It's called Speakeasy. $2.99 per month. I'll share my password. I love it.
I could never have a good conversation when Rob's in the room.
I'm telling you. And then we have the annual version of the Premium Plus, and it's called the Legacy Plus Annual, and it is $79.99. So that one's a pretty special subscription tier for us because, for instance, this past year, anybody that was a Legacy subscriber got to go out to Get Haunted's and Ghost Magazine's Supernatural Soiree.
Yep.
So we will be doing, and I don't want to give away too much information on this, we will be doing something like that once a year for our Legacy members. Of course, you could buy tickets at the for the event as well. But
Of course.
if you're a legacy member, it's going to be set up in a way where you could get in free for those. So
Now, Damien asked a really good question. Do you have a gifting option for Stream TV?
yeah, so we've been getting that question a lot during the holidays,
The holiday
obviously.
season, of course.
The short answer, Damien, is that yes, it is gonna be coming. You can't get it right now, but like on the back end, yes, we do have that functionality. We've just got to get it implemented to where we can basically we'll set up a web store where people can buy them and send you a code.
Fantastic. Now I can give you a little background. Damien's my brother from across the pond. He's over in Edinburgh, Scotland right now.
Oh,
So
nice. That's
it's
awesome,
very,
man.
very, very early in the morning for him over there. But
So,
he
Damien,
always
this will probably be important for you because this is another reoccurring question we get: is it going to be available in the UK? Is it going to be available in Canada, Scotland? Are these shows going to be available? Yes, they are available 90% of the world. So it is not going to be like Discovery Plus where
it's
shows
blacked out in
only
certain
air.
countries.
Right. It's not like that because we produce our own shows. So we own our original content, and then the stuff that we're licensing, we're specifically going after things that have worldwide deliverable on it. So we air it anywhere.
I mean, you and Shane over here are just going prestige worldwide over here. I mean, you're going to be at the
Prestige
Catalina wine
worldwide,
mixer.
wide. Yeah. What's up, Holly? Yeah, the Legacy Annual is really cool. That was one that when before we had even launched Beacon, we were like, hey, what's up, MD? Yep, he's our marketing guru there.
I may have to contact him. No.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. He has a lot of really good ideas. But before, speaking of good ideas, Legacy, we wanted to do something that was going to be a little bit different than your standard streaming platform packages, right? And because Shane and I are kind of involved so much in like conventions and the paranormal space, we were like, well, what if we created something where we could, give out tickets or do something that is more of a community driven thing for our Legacy Plus subscribers, and
kind of a give back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So because there's a lot of things for us that would mean the world to other people, and it doesn't necessarily cost us a bunch of time to get it done for them. So, this is kind of our way to kind of give back, and that is, it's those annual subscriptions are huge savers for us because we get, between the credit card fees and all that, transaction fees and stuff like that, it does better for us. So
yeah.
Oh,
all right, Shane,
yeah.
reel in your boy here. He's about to reveal financials for searchers and TV.
No, I mean, what
you're gonna have a stern talking to probably
that we have no money, and what money we do, we go straight back into Beacon.
No,
the name of the
that's
game,
awesome though. I mean, you guys. So one question I had for you is, how are you guys combating the surge, I guess you could say, in these paranormal streaming handles where you have like things like Paraflix and Dark Realm and things like that? How are you guys combating that?
I mean, we're not.
You're just doing your own thing.
Yeah. So I want to. He's a good.
And this is nothing against anybody that I just mentioned.
No,
whether
it
it be
isn't.
Paraflix or Dark Realm or anything like that.
I feel like I can make a pretty public statement for Beacon TV at this point about that, because I'm sure there's probably, with anything else, there's talk. We do this because we thought for ourselves that we wanted to throw our hat in the ring at giving viewers a good experience with content. That's it. I'm not going to we did not go into it with any kind of other narrative. And so because of that, like I mean, we don't get involved with any other platform. If we succeed, and we're hopeful for that, we want to be successful off of our work. That's it.
Of course. Be known for what you've done, not who you are.
Yep, exactly.
And that's actually a good segue into what Damien just asked. He said, what was the biggest hurdle you had to cross before you could say, that's it, we've done it?
We'll never get there, Damien. Short answer is we do take a pause every now and then to kind of celebrate our triumphs in depending on the time.
Celebrate the small victories.
Yeah. Depending on the time and depending on the struggles that we've had, it could be something as simple as fixing an IT issue. I mean, you guys, technology is great in a lot of ways because it allows us to do what we're doing. But on the other side, there are plenty of issues that are just standard issues out there that you're constantly combating, right? But yeah, I mean, we do try to take time to recognize that, one, we are bringing a service to people, right? And people are enjoying it. And two, it is growing, and it's growing. And in a lot of ways, it's grown a lot faster than we expected, so.
Yeah. Well, Shane's out here manifesting it. He said we will succeed, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
and you guys have done absolutely fantastic with Stream Beacon TV, considering you guys just announced it in July. And seeing what you built since then has absolutely been amazing. And yes,
and
Rob,
get to
Rob is right. If you yep,
well worth it. I appreciate that, Rob. Yeah, he came out to one that Katie McVeigh put on. It was at the Chambersburg Jail. Yeah, which was pretty fun. It's a fun time.
I'm gonna have to get a hold of this Katie and come out there and investigate and whatnot.
Yeah, as you know, and what Shane said, we're blessed and humbled to bring Beacon TV to people. It's an honor. I mean, honestly, guys, we're not. A lot of this has been a learning adventure for us. It's always something new every day that we're having to figure out angles and ways to move forward on. But we do that, and at the end of the day, Shane and I have always loved creating since before we were doing Searchers. Since before all of this, we were filming short films. We were working on other projects with other filmmakers, right?
You guys are living your life's passion. That's what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and for us, we saw a lot of our friends lose their jobs, right, on these bigger platforms. And for what it's worth, nobody can afford to do that in this financial state that we're in. We're not. None of us are breaking the bank. You know what I mean? It's not great. But
so don't expect Shane and Josh to pull up in a Rolls Royce to an event or anything.
No. Yeah, we live life on practicality. It's
hey, I mean, that's all you can do.
That's all you can do, man. So we saw that side of it too, right? We saw all of our friends like being left without jobs, for lack of better words, and then we saw viewers with this current question of, hey, when's the Holzer Files getting renewed? Hey, when's A&E's Ghost Hunters getting renewed? Hey, when is Ghosts of Morgan City getting renewed? Or, all these same age-old questions. And while we know that none of us have the authority to be able to renew them, right?
Now, isn't that the fun thing that comes across is, you have these shows that are canceled, and I have multiple friends that have been in several media shows, I guess you could say, that are actually network TV, not YouTube, anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's always funny talking to them, because they're like, oh yeah, they said they canceled us, they renew us for another season because of lack of viewership.
Yeah, which is,
and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they make the announcement, oh, we're cutting this show, we're not renewing this show. And then you have this up in arms over these people that are like, oh, why? We need another episode. We need another season, this, that, everything else. And, in the media, field, it's one of those things where it's easier to make a blanketed excuse than what the actual issue is.
So from like a public level, most often than not even allowed to say anything about it. Like that's the
Because you sign an NDA and everything like that
yeah.
and whatnot.
And they but it's also like, what do you do? What do
Yeah.
you do about it? And so going into Beacon TV, we said, you know, yeah, sure, we can't bring A&E's Ghost Hunters back. We can't bring the Holzer files back, but what we can do is these people are no longer under their contracts anymore. We can get those teams back together and do something that is about them, right?
And you can supply the content with those
Right,
individuals doing their own
right,
thing, not under the control of a
yeah,
production company.
right, exactly. And you know, it
What
kind
you're
of
doing is you're essentially giving everybody freedom.
oh yeah, a lot. So the very first thing that it's kind of like taken back for people when they work with us is they're like, well, what does our exclusivity agreement look like? Because in the network world, it's like 18 months exclusivity after something is canceled or something is done airing, right?
Uh,
But
I'm
for
pretty
us,
sure
it's like
Michael Cook's going to start rioting in the chat room.
yeah, so Michael Cook, for those of you that don't know, was on a show called The Alaskan Triangle, and he himself has dealt with this as well. So, you know, part of our thing and reason that people are so receptive to even because again, we're not gajillionaires or millionaires or any illionaires.
I'm a
um,
dominaire,
but
but
yeah, I mean the reason people like to work with us is because they do at their core, they want to create something that's going to be great, you know, that
yeah,
people know them for one. And then two, they've seen our work. They know what kind of quality we would put out. And then three, we're not wrapping them up into some kind of weird exclusive agreement, right? So we're saying, hey, this project will be exclusive to Beacon, but and honestly, we kind of want to earn that trust that they would want to work with us again, right? You know,
yeah.
and what better way to do that than to create an environment that's going to be enjoyable and not forced necessarily. So
Well, see, can you give people that experience that the first time it went so well, it wasn't just a fluke. This is how it's going to be
right,
every time.
exactly. That's exactly right. And that's what we aim to do, right? And we tell those people out the gate, like, listen, we want you to want to come back and do more stuff with us. So, you know, our exclusivity tends to come and go at the idea of this project will be exclusive to Beacon TV. And what you do outside of that would honestly, in our head, only promote Beacon more, right? Because
Yeah,
we want to create something that you're gonna want to talk about, you know. so, and so that's yeah, it's kind of been our mindset going into it, and it's worked out really well for us because of that. And I think it's resonated with creators a lot as well because take Brian and Rochelle for instance. You know, they have their own things that they want. They have their
yeah,
own the show that we filmed for them was at the core their idea, right? So we took it and we, you know, Shane Shane and I look at these different projects and the different stages that they're in, and we say, well, this is where we would benefit them the most to make them come to fruition. And in the case of their show, it was okay. Well, they already have a really good idea. They helped us scout the locations and everything, and we helped us put the schedule together. We all we did was worry a lot more about the visual storytelling of that project, and we wanted it to
yep.
feel specific to that project. You know, we want you to feel like you're on a road trip with those guys.
That's actually a good question here. Damien just asked if you join Beacon TV, can you download the shows and rewatch offline, or is it just Wi-Fi
um,
only?
Damien, I think it's just Wi-Fi only right now. I have to look to see if we even have the capability of doing something like that. That's a great great question though, Damien. We'll take a look at it and see.
No,
But
you were right there the first time. You said that was a great idea. You're already trekking down that path.
yeah. So yeah, for us, it's, you know, what Shane said. We don't treat the creators as dollar signs. We treat them with respect and as family because they are a part of the Beacon TV family. We couldn't do it without them, right? And we couldn't do it
That's
without the
fantastic.
viewers either. And for us, you know, it truly does take a village to succeed in this kind of world, and we don't
Oh,
want to
100%.
you know, the reason that we called the $79.99 a month tier Legacy Plus members is because Legacy is big to us. We want to leave something behind that's going to be here, you know,
Yeah,
to where you don't come in next year and wonder why your show got canceled, or, you know, you can confidently say that, well, if something's not on there, then it's either some life event with the creator or the views just weren't there, you know. And those are the two things. Those are the things
yeah,
that could cause us to change, right? But we take
of
it a
course.
lot into consideration because of that. You know, of course, you're out the gate. We're going to have some shows do a lot better than others because, you know, it's going to have talent that came from TV shows. So we take those kinds of things into account when we're looking at some of the shows that are fresh, that have never been done before, or that have people that have never been on TV before. It doesn't mean that we're going to just cut them out because they didn't compete with this other show that had these like veteran people on it, right? We take
Of
all of that
course.
into account. And we look at various different like metrics because we want to make sure that like it, you know, everything kind of has we use the term or a rising tide lifts all ships. I got it from my
Hmm.
wife, but we have used that over and over with the launch of Beacon TV, and we're going to continue to do that as well. And the idea behind it is that we create a certain quality standard within Beacon TV as far as the content is concerned, that even if you were never on TV before and now you have a TV show with us, your show will get lifted up by being in company with these other shows because they're all going to be worth watching.
And see, that's the big thing too. And I got to give a quick shout out to Sarah and Rob here of Get Haunted. That's the one thing they've done with
Yeah.
their network. They've done the same thing. They brought in people
Right.
that have quality shows, that have quality programming, and everyone else is lifted up around them because of the simple fact that all these other shows people know. And guess what?
Right.
People from tonight may look to see what else Get Haunted has offered. You know,
Yeah,
tomorrow night,
absolutely.
Get Moderated with my friends Ian and Julie. They come on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and they talk about some off the wall things.
That's
So, I
awesome.
mean, it's a good, you know, it's a good thing. Like we have shows that are on all spectrums of things. So it's
Right.
definitely fantastic. But we are
Yeah,
coming
man.
towards the
That's
end of the show here, Josh. So I
nice.
have 3 questions for you.
Yeah.
All right. So money, traveling, all that has been brought up in this interview throughout the evening. If you could take Searchers Afterlife to 5 locations anywhere in the world, no expenses to worry about. You go in, free roam, have the place to yourself. And it could be anywhere, even restricted at places.
Okay.
5 anywhere in the world, where would you go?
All right. So one would be the Paris catacombs for sure. It's been a bucket list location for me, and I know it's been a bucket list location for Shane. Uh, One would be the haunted forest over in Romania, and who knows, we may get that opportunity this coming up year. Uh, One would be Island of the Dolls. Let's see, I got 2 more. You know, let's throw a curveball one in there. Something like Area 51 would be really cool. And then Skinwalker Ranch would be really cool if I just had like untethered access to go out there and film something.
Skinwalker is one I have not heard mentioned yet.
Really?
Like that like Area 51 and Skinwalker have not been mentioned yet. And I ask this question almost every interview, and that's really interesting because you're kind of taking it on a another angle of things.
Yeah, for sure. Like I try to, for Searchers Afterlife, and for Shane and I, it's all about the exploration of all of this paranormal stuff, right? And I feel like there's a couple of different locations out there that maybe have their Michael Cook all by myself, that have these different approaches to them. I think Skinwalker Ranch and Area 51 are two of those.
That's awesome. All right, so the second question I have for you: if you were to have to lose one sense, what would you willingly get rid of?
Probably sight, which is
Really?
weird because I'm a filmmaker, but from an experience
Yeah.
standpoint, I mean, again, there's a reason why we do the Estes method as much as we do. It's because I become a lot more like in tune with my surroundings when I'm not looking at stuff. So,
Oh, that's what they say. When you cut one sense off, the others
mhm.
tend to, become more prevalent.
Kelly, that's a great one. The White House. That's really good too.
That has been one of the one
Shane.
of the most haunted. Oh God.
Yeah.
So don't you guys have a rule? No number two on the bus?
Yes, we do actually. Absolutely. But it doesn't keep it from being
It doesn't
absolutely
happen.
disgusting in there sometimes. After you've been
All
on the
right.
road for a
Yeah, for
week.
so long, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, who gives a care? I'm
Yeah.
doing it. All right, so this leads me to my last question here.
Yeah.
If you were on death row, what would your last meal be?
Hmm.
Anything. Let's get into the Georgia mind of Josh Purvis here.
Dang, that's I don't know, probably some or a southern meal, fried chicken, black eyed peas, mac and cheese, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I could get behind that. Now I'm
You
hungry.
having a nice tall glass of sweet tea?
Yes, sir.
I
You
lived in
know it.
North Carolina for 3 years, so I know
There
how the
you go.
sweet tea is down there.
That's right, man. Give you
All right, Josh,
diabetes after one glass.
I'm gonna give you the next 2 minutes to plug yourself. Tell people where they can find you, what events you're gonna be at, what you're doing next, Shane's cell phone number, his personal email address. I mean,
It's-
you know,
I like it.
anything you want to
Yeah.
do. It's open domain here. Just wait 1 second, and I'm gonna hit record. No.
I love it. So yeah, if you want to see what we're heavily involved in right now, be sure to go subscribe to streambeacontv.com. Follow us on the socials, Stream Beacon TV. If you message us, we're the ones responding most of the time. You will see me at a couple of events. I'll be at Rock Island again in October of 2025. I will be at the Paranormal Rock Down in July. I will be at Cajun Country Paracon in April. And I have another one in North Carolina. I don't want to be the one to announce this one yet, but we just set this one up. It'll be in North Carolina in April as well. So
See, that's
other than
very
that,
interesting. I lived in North
yeah,
Carolina for 3 years, and there wasn't a lot of paranormal stuff down there.
there isn't, but there is
I
one
wasn't looking
particular
in the right place then.
one particular city out there that kind of embraces it, and we'll be going out there. We other than that, oh, and of course, with if you want to take this adventure of a lifetime with us, you can join Searchers with Mysterious Adventures Tours over in Romania for Halloween next year too. So I don't think there's a couple of tickets left for that. It's nearly sold out as well.
Wow.
But other than that, Shane and I will be on the road filming along with Mike Angus in here, I'm sure. We'll be on the road filming probably 3 months out of next year, if I give or take. So,
Well, Shane, if you're
Yeah.
still in the room, I told Josh when we were backstage that I help run 3 locations up here with Matt Warner and
Oh,
get you
yeah,
guys some
yeah, nice.
access and everything. So I will definitely get you that information for you guys because
Yeah,
tell you
sweet.
what, Massachusetts has a lot of history to it, but you know what? The little hidden gems that aren't really
Yeah, for
publicized
sure.
much, that there's that's where the bread and butter is.
I
So
love it, dude.
um
I love it.
but Josh, thank you so much for coming on
Oh,
tonight.
man.
You were absolutely an amazing guest. I don't know if I'm gonna see you in Gettysburg this year. I know you guys were there last year.
Yeah, so we haven't been invited to be there this year. I do know a lot of the creators from Beacon TV are gonna be there, though, so definitely
Okay.
go. It's a good event for a good cause, so yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Josh. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Everybody out there, go sign up for Stream Beacon TV. Beacon TV. Watch Searchers Afterlife on Beacon TV. Spam Shane's inbox with, whatever you want to.
Yes.
I'm only giving Shane shit because he didn't decide to come on the show tonight. So, I mean,
Uh,
but no, Josh, you were absolutely fantastic. And it was so great catching up with you and talking and just, getting down to the base of what Searchers and Beacon TV is.
Yeah, man. No, I was happy to do it. Thanks for having me out, Russ.
No, I really appreciate it. So, there we go. All right, Shane. All right. I'll
Nice
catch up with
chatting,
you
man.
soon here, Shane.
Yeah,
All
man.
right, Josh,
Yeah,
I
for
appreciate
sure.
it so much. Thank you again for coming on. You have been absolutely just a fantastic guest, and you've really, the numbers that I've been looking at, which numbers don't mean anything, but you've been consistently up there. So,
I appreciate it, man.
fantastic
Thank
for
you.
you and fantastic for searchers and them. So, but again, thank you. Have a good night. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy that
Yeah, you
warm air
too.
down in Georgia.
Hey, everybody, have a good Christmas too.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming in and listening. That was Josh Purvis from Searchers and Beacon TV. Next week, Monday, 12/16. I have a surprise guest I'm working on right now, and I'm hoping they can have the commitment to it. But other than that, it's something. I will be here next Monday, regardless. Compass Curiosities is back, so don't go anywhere. We'll have some great guests coming up here at the end of the year as well into 2025. So you guys are absolutely amazing. As I always say at the end of every show, I could never do this, guys. Do any of this without you guys. You guys are the reason I keep coming and doing this. Your comments, your interaction in the chat. You guys are absolutely amazing. So keep coming out, support those small shows, those small podcasts, vodcasts, things like that. And always, always have each other's back. And as Rob would say, and Sarah would say, don't be a dick. We'll catch you next week.